Hello, I'm Linda Shiflett, Superintendent of Hampton City Schools. And today I have this wonderful opportunity to speak to the 2013 Valedictorians. And the first one I have with me today is Stephen Deshong from Bethel High School. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
I understand that you've been a student in Hampton City Schools for a long time. Tell me a little bit about that.
First, I went to Craft Elementary from 1st grade until 5th grade, and then I went from there to here at Jones Magnet Middle School, and I was in the gifted program, and then after that I went to Bethel High School for all 4 years.
And I understand you have some siblings who've also been in Hampton City Schools?
Yes, ma'am. My older brother, William, he goes to Virginia Tech right now, and he went along the same path that I did. And my little brother, he went to Craft all 5 years, and then after that went to Phoenix, the new school that recently opened, and he plans on going to Bethel next year.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that you really enjoy mathematics, am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me a little about when you first just started seeing that you had this special affinity for math.
Well, my mom always told me that in kindergarten, you know how you don't really remember that much from kindergarten, but she said that on the way home, I'd ask for a whole bunch of math problems, just the whole time home. And I'd even say, all right, counting from 5, starting at 3, 8, 13, 18, and just going from there.
And I understand you also have a special talent with Rubik's Cubes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so tell me about when you discovered that you could really...
7th grade, I got really into it. I thought these were the classic puzzle, and if I could solve it, then I could solve just about anything, and hopefully that'll be true.
And your record is?
45 seconds.
And you said you have all different shapes?
Yeah, I have
all sizes?
Well, I do have different shapes. They have a Rubik's pyramid. They have, it's a little weird one towards, I think it's a dodecahedron. It's a weird shape. And then there's my 7x7, and that's my current record for biggest one.
That's amazing. All right, so not only are you doing well in academics, what is your grade point average?
4.27.
4.27, that
yes,
is amazing.
Thank you.
And I assume mathematics is your favorite course.
Yes, ma'am. Right now I'm in BC Calculus and AP Statistics, and I recently took the AP exams for that. I feel really confident in them.
Great. But you also do some other things in athletics. Tell us a little bit about that.
I do baseball. Right now I'm on the varsity team, and we're about to have our district's game today. Hopefully it's not canceled. And I'm currently the designated hitter, and I also run cross country. And for 1 year I ended up doing indoor track. It was so much.
Was it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I know a big portion of your thoughts have been devoted to which college or university?
Virginia Tech, 100%.
Why did you pick Virginia Tech?
Well, they have a very great engineering program there, and my older brother currently goes there, and I visited there, I think it was 2 years ago. I really love the campus, and so I knew that that was the place to go.
Did you visit any other schools before you made your decision?
No, ma'am. Well, I did go to Ohio State, the Ohio State, as Will liked to call it, when he was there as a freshman. Mm-hmm. So I went there, very huge campus. It was also beautiful, but it was all the way in Ohio, so it seemed too far.
And you said your brother is at Tech. What year is he?
A junior.
A junior.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm sure he'll be able to show you all the ropes when you get there. And
that's what he has been doing so far.
That's wonderful. And so when will you leave for Blacksburg?
I've been accepted to the summer academy there, but as long as money provides, I'll end up going to it. And if not, then I'll just end up getting either a summer internship or a job.
So what is the summer academy all about?
As Will said it, he helps run it. He's a big part of my life. He said that it's called the Summer Bridge Academy, and it's introducing just graduated seniors into the college environment before the college semester actually begins. And you take, I want to call it mock courses, like they have different fields, like they have engineering, English, and poetry, I guess. And I signed up for the engineering one, of course.
I thought you would have signed up for poetry, Stephen.
Oh, shucks. Well, he said that it's, you get the dorm experience, you get the class experience, and also the whole environment without your parents around, to help you out, get your clothes ready, But he said it's very neat, and I should definitely look into it.
So it really is trying to help you bridge from being a high
Yes,
school student to being a college student.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I'm sure having your brother there is going to be a tremendous sense of support for you.
Of course.
Especially because you said that he's your
Role model.
role model.
Yes, ma'am.
Does he know that?
Yeah, I tell him that every now and then. I mean, it's sort of an implied thing, but I tell him, hey, Will, you're my role model. And a big thing of that is, like as I was walking through high school, well, as I first walked into it, I realized, wow, Will is doing all these great things in high school. I want to do that. And on top of that, I want to do better than that. And so I have in some respects.
What other activities have you done while you're in high school?
I'm part of the National Honor Society, and as a member of it, well, actually the president right now, I have to do a whole bunch of community service, and the way I do mine is through videography. And during the fall, I help out our varsity football team, and I just go way up in the stands, you know, right next to the little announcement booth. I just get my camera and start recording, and then help out the team as they perfect their plays and lineup.
So have you done any other kind of community outreach or community service?
Well, I do help out the elderly with the yard work, and I also volunteer umpire at the Northampton Little League, which is a place where I first started playing baseball.
All right, so you've got cross country and you've got baseball.
Yes,
Which
ma'am.
one do you enjoy the most?
Well, the thing about cross country is that it's individual, you know, because it's all on you, like your time and all. But for baseball, it's very team oriented, and I mean, I think it's a great thing I have both. That way, I'm able to get a balance of both of them. So, I guess equally.
Do you think that you will try to play either, be involved in either at
I believe I'll
Virginia
end up doing
Tech?
intramural baseball once I get to Tech, but I'll definitely do running during my off time, you know, to stay in shape, of course.
Mm-hmm. What motivates you?
I guess to do my best.
You seem to be a very focused young man. What do you do for fun?
I'm a very stereotypical teen. I like to play games, play outside with my friends, and as I said before, Rubik's Cubes.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you have a younger brother who's at Phoenix right now,
Yes, ma'am.
and what grade is he in?
He's in 8th grade.
He's in 8th grade, so he's getting ready to walk across the field
Right.
to come over to Bethel. What advice would you give him?
I would say to not worry about what other people think, and that to do the best that he can in whatever he does, because Will has done his best, I've done my best, and it's shown that we are able to succeed and that he can too.
Great. As you look forward to your college career, what do you want to major in? I know engineering, but specifically what do you want to do?
Mechanical.
And why'd you pick mechanical?
Well, going back to the Rubik's Cube, I'm very structurally, well, I'm strong mentally when it comes to three-dimensional objects, and I feel as if mechanical engineering would be my forte in that I can, use the least amount of movements in order to get a job done.
So what do you see yourself doing after you get out of college?
I want to say as an inventor, or maybe even, if not that, directly after college, then a person that helps out with an engineering firm.
So you said you're interested in inventing things?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so what
Yeah.
are you thinking about? Anything?
Nothing specific, but you know the movie Iron Man?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Tony Stark, he's the main character. He seems really neat, and like just the things that he makes, it'd be really neat to be able to use that and put in the real world.
Well, Stephen, I certainly wish you the best, and it's
Thank you,
been
ma'am.
great speaking to you today.
You too.
Virginia Tech is a great school, and I have a feeling that you're just going to do wonderfully there.
Thank you.
Keep in touch.
I sure will. Yes,
and
ma'am.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Join us for our next interview coming up.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
My next guest is Sarah Angel from Kecoughtan High School. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too.
Now, I have seen you in other places
Yes,
and
ma'am.
events, and I happen to know that you are a very gifted and talented gymnast.
Yes.
Do you want
thank
to tell us
you.
a little bit about that?
Sure. So I started out doing gymnastics for over 10 years, and then due to a back injury, I had to stop that. But at that point, I was starting to do dance as well as aerial arts. So I kind of segued into just those two activities after my back injury. And since then, I've been performing and practicing dance and aerial arts. So it's definitely been a huge part of my life.
Now, I went to an event, it hasn't been that long ago, where you were doing silks.
Right.
Tell people about that and the process about learning how to do that.
Right. Okay. So aerial silks is one of those things where it's fun for everyone because it's a way to work out and it's a way to challenge yourself physically and mentally. Basically, it's gymnastics in the air. So you start out learning how to climb, and then you progress into more difficult skills. Depending on your initial skill level, some people start out with no strength at all. But like me, I was a gymnast, so I had the advantage of already having strength. So you learn how to climb first, and then from then you go into up in the air type things. So you don't just get put up in the air and say, just go do this. It's not like that. A lot of people ask me, do you fall? And I say no, because falling is not really an option because everything has a process. So it's very safe.
It's also very beautiful. I loved watching the competition and saw a number of young people from Hampton City Schools involved. And it's just a very beautiful, but it seems to be a very hard thing to do.
Right. It is, it's a test every day. It doesn't really it gets easier in the respect that I can do longer routines. So I'm up to doing like a 7-minute routine now, which is very, very difficult. It just takes a toll on your stamina, but it definitely builds it as well.
Wow, so you have this great athletic ability, but you also have this amazing academic ability. What's your GPA?
4.57.
Okay. And I understand that you have accepted to college. Which one is it?
UVA, University of Virginia.
What made you pick UVA?
Well, initially it was not my first choice, to say the least. It was actually on the bottom of my list, but I toured it over the summer of after my junior year, and I kind of fell in love with the campus, but I didn't really have my eyes set on it. And then I applied to college, and the way the acceptances worked out, I decided on UVA. So.
And so you told me that you did a number of visits.
Yes.
Tell me about some of the colleges you visited.
Well, I visited almost all of the Ivy League schools with my co-valedictorian, Lauren Chambers. We started out over spring break of our junior year touring places like Brown, UPenn, Princeton, Yale, and then back here I toured places like William & Mary and UVA. So I kind of got a taste of multiple types of schools.
Mm-hmm. And so you ultimately decided on UVA. Mm-hmm. Are you thinking about what you might want to major in?
Yes. The plan right now is to hopefully double major in biology and Spanish. I'm not sure where I want to go with the biology, but most likely going to do something in the medical field. Yes, so that's still in the works.
Great. Now, you mentioned that you have a friend.
Yes.
And that friend is a co-valedictorian.
Yes, ma'am.
Lauren Chambers.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. That must have been interesting.
Right. It was. Lauren and I have known each other since we were born practically, but we did not become close friends until somewhere around the 8th grade. And then from there, we kind of realized that we were on the same level academically and that we both like to be challenged and that we were both good at school, basically. So in 9th grade, we were 1 and 2 ranked in our school, in our class. So we kind of realized that, wow, we could kind of keep this up and be tied maybe for graduation. So as time progressed, we realized that that was a possibility. And this year, our senior year, it was neck and neck the whole time. We kept flip-flopping. She was 1, I was 2, and vice versa. And then at the end, it came out that we were tied. So it was an ideal situation.
So friendly competition, right?
Yes, definitely. We grew up kind of together, and so we were always, we never fought. We never fight. So it's definitely good because we know that we can maintain our friendship, but also know that we have to keep our grades up because of each other. So it's a good push factor.
Now, you have this outside activity with gymnastics. You are very involved in your academics, but you also are involved in some school activities, aren't you?
Yes. I'm the president of National Honor Society at my school. I'm also in multiple other honor societies, as well as I serve as the vice chair of the Hampton Youth Commission. So that's a big part of my extracurricular time as I go to City Hall and I meet with real city officials. I talk to the mayor and the city manager. So that kind of opens my eyes to what goes on behind the scenes in Hampton.
So as a member of the National Honor Society and current president, you are involved in some community-based activities,
Yes.
is that right? What have you done this year?
Well, I do, with my church, I'm very involved with my church, Calvary Assembly of God. I work with the children's ministry a lot, with specifically with first graders. So every other week, I teach a life group, like Sunday school style class, and kind of just, it's kind of like childcare, but a little bit of a twist, kind of with church and things like that. And so I volunteer a lot with my church with that, and I do cleanups. I do Memorial Day outreach things every year with my church. So we go out into the neighborhood and repair elderly people's homes and things like that. So I kind of just try to distribute my free time, which isn't much, but yes, volunteering.
And you've been with Hampton City Schools you're all the way through, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I started out at Asbury Elementary, and then I went to the gifted program at Jones. And after that, I spent 1 year at Hampton High School in the pre-IB program, but then transferred to Kecoughtan High School for the remaining 3 years.
And what kind of coursework have you taken the past couple of years?
All honors, but mostly AP. Each year I've gained AP classes. Last year I took 5, but this year I'm in 4 with a senior mentorship, and one of them is double blocked. So I kind of have the same course load as I did last year.
What was your most challenging course as you've gone through all those AP courses?
Right. AP English this year has been very challenging, not necessarily because the material is difficult, but just kind of managing my time and realizing that it is a college-style class and actually getting the work done with everything else that's going on.
Has anybody been a role model or mentor to you?
Well, Lauren has probably been the biggest motivator for me, just because she's been my support and my kind of push to do great, you know. And my parents have always given me unwavering support, so I'm grateful for that. But other than that, I think my dance teacher, Dee Dee, the one that kind of pulled me into aerial arts, because she's kind of shown me that I can do whatever I want to do in life, against all odds, basically. I did not think I would be able to become great at something that I had never done before so late in my life, because in gymnastics, it's kind of one of those things where if you don't start young, then you're not going to really get anywhere with it. But aerial arts kind of proved me wrong with that. So she kind of showed me that things can change for the better.
So when did you actually start learning gymnastics?
Well, I started taking gymnastics when I was in preschool, so like 2 and 3. I went up until I was almost 14. This summer I turned 14 was when I kind of hurt my back. And then that's when I kind of started the dance and aerial. So.
And aren't you teaching some classes now in gymnastics too?
Yes, I teach a junior aerial silks class with 6 to 10-year-olds, 6 to 10-year-old girls. They've taught me a lot of patience, for sure. It's a blast teaching them because it's something that I love. So conveying it to someone younger and seeing, the fire in their eyes and saying, oh, I want to be like Sarah is, a great, great thing to do.
Now, I know you must do something for fun.
Yes.
So what do you do in your free time?
Well, I like to listen to music. I like to go shopping. I'm a crafty person, so I like to do things that kind of by hand and things like that. I like to spend time with my family, just relax when I can, which I don't get to do very often, but I take advantage of it when I do have free time.
Now, in not too long, you'll be going to UVA.
Mm-hmm.
When will you be going there?
Well, I get my move-in date soon, but it'll either be the 23rd or the 24th of August.
Do you know who your roommate is yet?
Yes, I do. I actually met her via the Facebook page for the girls' roommate search for UVA. She's from Clark County, and so we've never met in person, but she's a very nice girl, so I'm very excited to. I have a lot of friends that are going to UVA from Kecoughtan, but I decided not to room with one of them because I kind of wanted to open a new network of people because I know she has friends that are going to UVA, so kind of just spread myself out and get to know people.
Now, you have a younger sibling, correct?
Yes, he is 16. He's a Kecoughtan sophomore. Yes.
So what advice do you have for him?
Probably just to stay on track and keep his eyes on the prize, so to speak. He has a hard time staying motivated in school. He'd rather be outside, fishing, hunting, doing things like that. So, but he's brilliant. So I think just watching him grow up, I would probably say just to stay motivated, even though it may not be fun at times.
So in some of your activities at school, have you done any mentoring of other younger students or students at Kecoughtan?
Not at Kecoughtan, but I do mentor a 6th grader at Sims. I go almost weekly I kind of sit in with her in her classroom and just also talk to her about what's going on at home, if she has any family problems or things like that, just to keep her on track and things like that.
All right, so you've got a little bit of time before college. Any special plans for this summer?
Lauren and I are planning a road trip. We're not sure where or when we're going to do it, but that's our goal for this summer, to go on a road trip. I'm trying to get a job just to make money for college. And other than that, I'm just going to enjoy my last months here before I leave.
Well, Sarah, you're an amazing young lady, and I
Well,
wish
thank
you the
you.
best. And I want you to remember to keep in touch with us so
Yes,
you know what
ma'am.
you're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Thank
good
you
luck.
very much.
We'll be right back with our next guest, Elizabeth Libby Towell from Hampton High School.
Here's Marley Matlin. Since 1977, Dogs for the Deaf has been rescuing dogs from animal shelters and professionally training them to assist people who need them. They literally become the ears of a deaf person. Dogs are placed free of charge across the U.S. and Canada. Dogs that don't make it in the program are found forever homes through adoption. If you or anyone you know might benefit from having a hearing dog, visit the website of Dogs for the Deaf. Helping people and saving dogs is what it's all about.
Welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed hearing from some of our amazing young people as much as I've enjoyed talking to them. You know, when you hear about the amazing things that we're doing, it makes me very hopeful for what's in store for us in the future. Our next guest is Elizabeth, also known as Libby Towell. She is the valedictorian from Hampton High School. Hi, Libby. It's good to see you.
Hi, Dr. Shiplett.
Now, you have been in a number of activities in Hampton High School. You want to tell us a little bit about some of the things you've done?
Sure. So in my 9th grade year, I joined the Latin Honor Society because I was still taking Latin at Hampton High at that time. I finished Latin at Hampton High in 10th grade. I went up to Latin 3. I had done some in middle school, so I'm still in that technically. I don't participate as much. I'm also in the National Honor Society, and I'm the president of KIET, so I was the vice president last year. That's been a really big thing for me. It's an all-women's community service organization, and I really like being a part of that. Do you want my outside of school stuff?
Well, let's talk a little bit about the KIETs, because that's really been an integral part of some of the things that you've done at Hampton High. Mm-hmm. What are some of the activities that you've been involved in?
So this year I headed a project to get mirrors for the new bathrooms, and then we were also going to do like some positive messages for women to see, because a lot of times there's like graffiti or people just, I think for girls it's good to see the positive messages. So that was a project I headed, but then we also do like outside of school community service. Like we've adopted a spot. We do Relay for Life. We donate money, like all our money that we raise, we donate to good sources in the community. Like the Angel Tree, someone actually lost a brother due to a gun thing, and we donated money to that family after that. So we've really been able to engage ourselves in projects that affect our community as well as the nation and just even within our school. So it's been nice.
Libby, do you have anyone who's kind of been a role model to you or a mentor?
Definitely my mother and my grandmother. I grew up until I was like 5 or 6, and my mom married my stepfather, but at that kind of critical developmental point, I was living with my mom and my grandmother, and both of them were just amazing women who challenged themselves with their education. My grandmother was the valedictorian of her high school and an English major, so both of them were always on me to do the best I possibly could.
And how about your work at Hampton High School? Have you mentored anybody at Hampton High or someone within the school division or within a church group or something like that?
Well, I would say a big part of the Kecoughtan thing is the sisterhood. So everybody in Kecoughtan, there's an academic component to it. You have to have a minimum 3.0 GPA, but even those girls I've been able to help, and I started tutoring a girl in Kecoughtan, and then also I've been tutoring the math at my school. Like I have a teacher who was new and she was having some classroom management difficulties, so I was able to go in there with her and actually help her teach geometry, and then I've also tutored at like Saturday school. So I tutor math and I help out the girls in the Kecoughtan, but I wouldn't say I've mentored someone.
Now tell me a little bit about your GPA.
Okay, well, it was 4.55. However, TOK, which is an IB class, was incorrectly weighted at 4, and it's supposed to be a 4.5, so I'm not sure what my actual GPA is. It's probably like 4.56 or something, but I don't know what it is after they correct that.
And you had some rather impressive SAT scores too.
Yeah, I got a 2290 as my super score.
So where are you going to college in the fall?
I'm going to go to William & Mary as a Monroe Scholar.
So what made you decide on William & Mary?
Well, I visited the Ivies as well, only a few of them. And there's kind of pressure, I'm sure you know, for me to go to Harvard because Josh Scott and Breonna Atkins, the previous 2 years valedictorians, went to Harvard. But, you know, I visited and I was just like, this is so far away from home and this just isn't the atmosphere I want. And I had worked last year on a research project at William & Mary and kind of gotten to know some of the kids, and I just like the atmosphere. I mean, they're intelligent people who challenge themselves, but I don't think there's like the Ivy League attitude, perhaps, which really appealed to me.
Tell me a little bit about that research project.
Well, I actually just standardized 2 databases, but the research project itself is this really highly acclaimed project, and there's 2 parts of it, and the one that gets all the funding is it's called aid data, and it tracks all of the like foreign aid between countries, and it tracks where the money goes and all of that. And like the Gates Foundation has given grants to that. The government actually gave a grant to that because the data is so valuable, and like, you know, a governmental organization didn't even do it to the capacity that William & Mary can. And then the second part of that is the researcher's pet project, and she just tracks the paradigms in the teaching of international relations because it interests her. So I just standardized databases, but this year I'll be working on it and actually doing the research project stuff, which is exciting.
So will you be doing that during the summer?
Yes.
So when will you actually start going to William & Mary?
I believe it's like late August, like Sarah was saying. It's probably the 21st or the 22nd.
And so what are you thinking about majoring in?
I think what I'll do is get a major in business because they have one of the best business schools in the country. But then I'm thinking to kind of add something even onto that. I'll get a major or a minor in a social science so that I'll kind of have a mix of the math and the other disciplines. Just, I think it makes, I could have more potential careers.
Now, Libby, you've been a member of the IB program at Hampton High School. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it starts in 9th grade. You're in the pre-diploma program, and the Co-Valedictorians from Hampton were in that as well. And the first 2 years, the 9th grade and 10th grade, are that pre-diploma program. And it's more difficult than the average classes, but it's trying to prepare you for the real rigor of the IB program. And then once you enter 11th grade, it's on. I mean, it becomes very difficult. Like in the English class, you're constantly doing all this work. You write like a 500-word essay every day, and then periodically you'll have a 1,000 to a 2,000-word essay that you have to write. And then you pick a science and a math, and it's all very, very rigorous. But I think what's great about it is that it really prepares people for college. Most of the IB kids that I've talked to, freshmen and sophomores, they say college is a breeze after you're in IB, because you're constantly writing these long papers and you're thinking on this elevated way, and it's just interesting. Yeah.
What was your most challenging course that you've had in the IB program?
Probably, it's a tie between the AP BC Calculus, which isn't technically IB, but you take it before IB HL Math because we do the subtopic of calculus. And so it's a tie between that and IB English 11, just because in English 11, you're just challenged so much, there's so much work, and you're also supposed to really analyze literature in depth. I mean, the culture behind it, as well as the literary devices, everything. But then BC Calculus, you go into that straight without AB. So that was really challenging as well.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for the future, Libby?
You mean like a career?
Yes.
I think I want to do some kind of consulting, like where I do waste management, or I try to like improve programs and just eliminate areas that aren't needed. Like I could even do that for a school system or something.
Well, Libby, I wish you the best, and I'll take you up on that to come back and help us. And you know, the past couple of years you've been in my superintendent's advisory council, and you are an amazing young lady. I expect great things from you. Thank you for being here today. Stay tuned for our next guest.
I used to dread getting up and going to work.
I was done with the corporate grind.
I was tired of being a starving artist.
I started looking around for a business that I believed in, and I kind of wanted to do something a little more green.
For my kids. My art is my passion. My score mentor helped me take the first step.
He helped me create a business plan and helped me implement it.
Feels like you're not in it alone.
How to expand.
My business.
If you get a solid foundation laid, everything else falls in place.
Their talent helps me be successful at mine.
My score mentor has been tremendously helpful in the marketing of my business.
Every person I've encountered with SCORE is so incredibly passionate about what they do.
SCORE helped me to make the unimaginable possible, all for free.
For free.
I could not have done it alone. I'm here because of SCORE.
I'm here because of SCORE.
I'm here because of SCORE.
Get your free business mentor at score.org.
Welcome back. Our next guest is John Peters, also known as Jack, and he is a valedictorian from Phoebus High School. And about 2 years ago, I recall interviewing a young man named Zach Peters. Any relation to you?
A little bit, yeah.
So
Yes.
who is Zach?
He's my older brother. He was the valedictorian at Phoebus 2 years ago. He's one of the role models in my life. Certainly gets on me when I need to start going.
And where is Zach now?
He is at the Citadel in South Carolina, Charleston.
And how's he doing?
He's doing very well.
Great. I would have expected that of him.
Yes, he's a very hardworking man.
Now, I remember Zach played soccer. Did you follow in the tradition?
Yes, ma'am. I played soccer 9th through 12th grade, just like he did. He was a defender, but I played goalie the majority of my years.
Mm-hmm. Any other school activities that you've been involved in?
I wrestled 9th through 11th grade. I'm part of the National Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, and I think that's about it.
So in the National Honor Society, you do activities within the school and in the community.
Yes, ma'am.
What kinds of activities have you been involved in?
most of my volunteering goes to, whether it's a night's welcome for a neighboring church in my community, or just the youth group at my own church. It's like lecturing, going to class, and just the regular religious stuff.
Now, tell me, what is your GPA?
I think it's about a 4.4 now. I'm not exactly sure what the exact number is.
Enough to make you valedictorian,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay. What kinds of courses did you take while at Phoebus?
I took a lot of engineering courses because they have the Project Lead the Way classes at Phoebus, and I will be finishing them all up this year.
What is Project Lead the Way for people who've not heard of that before?
It's like it introduces you to the world of engineering, the programs that you need to be familiar with, the way you need to think about taking care of problems. It takes you through the intro to engineering, so you get used to using like AutoCAD or Inventor, and then you have principles and digital electronics, sim class, and then EDD. So it'll take you through working with machines and then also coming up with your own designs and coming through with it.
So is it safe to assume that you want to be an engineer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so are you thinking about specializing in any particular area?
I'm thinking about green engineering, trying to do some good in the world.
Like what?
I want to work with alternate energies or food sourcing, helping to take care of some of the bad that's going on in the world, whether it's pollution or just starving peoples.
So within this whole engineering phase that you've been in at Phoebus High School, what was the most challenging for you?
The most challenging? Most of the classes, I'd probably say digital electronics. I took that class probably the most seriously. It was working with using chips in order to use logical binary numbers to make a computer do what you want, make the decisions you want, whether it's working with like switches or sensors in order to make the circuit have the right output so it can do whatever it needs to do.
So did you work any with the first robotics team?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I did it my 10th and 12th grade years. A little interruption with wrestling, so it was hard. It was difficult to do both of them at the same time. But my 10th and 12th grade year, there was a lot of getting used to working in an actual engineering atmosphere, because you're working with a real team, and then there's a goal, a team goal that you need to meet, where you need to get the wheels or you need to mill a part of the robot. And it introduces you to what real life engineering is. It's a good experience.
I remember walking in the classroom and there was this digital clock that was counting down the time. And it was just amazing to me to see the young people, many of you there, after school and late into the evening.
Yeah.
About how much time did you put into that? Or does a typical student put into the first robotics competition?
Well, in order to go with the team to the competition, you have to put in, I think it's 48 hours. I didn't pay attention to exactly how much I put in, but I know I made the 48-hour deadline, but both times I wasn't able to go with the competition. But this past year, I probably put in about 55, I think. It's not as much as some of the other kids, because a lot of that is what they mainly take care of.
So how did the competition go this year for Phoebus's team?
I think in the first competition that they did, they placed around the middle, which is pretty good. And then the second one, I think I heard they did very well in the beginning, and then they kind of slowly made their way between the top and the middle. So they did pretty well. And it's a large competition, so it's not just like a small area where people are competing. It's a large area where there's a lot of very smart people, a lot of mentors from real corporations that deal with that kind of engineering.
And didn't you have some business and industry people, folks that were mentoring your team?
Yes, ma'am.
Who were they? Do you remember the companies that they represented?
I really don't know.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's such a great opportunity for young people to be involved in, a real life kinds of problem solving. And I know that when I went over there, everyone was so engrossed in what they were doing and trying to make sure that they were doing their part to make everything come together.
Yeah.
So it was just really, to me, a tremendous example of helping young people see real life problems and doing some great problem solving. So tell me, what do you do for entertainment? What do you do in your free time?
Well, I normally play a lot of soccer, but right now I'm still recovering from shin splints, so year-long shin splints, so it's not very fun. Right now I'm picking up the guitar again, playing music. It's one of my greater hobbies.
So are you playing in a band, or is it just something that you do as an individual?
Well, I've wanted to play in a band, but normally with all the academics and sports that I do throughout the normal school year, I haven't really had the opportunity. But I'm looking for a band right now to get together over the summer.
So Jack, is there another Peters coming along?
Yes, there is another one. Mac Peters. He's in 9th grade this year.
And what advice have you given to him?
To enjoy his high school years. Because I know me and my older brother haven't necessarily had the most fun, even though we definitely came out with some strong experiences.
Well, Jack, I want to thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you today. I think you're going to have a great time at Virginia Tech, and I know you're going to do well in that engineering program.
Thank you very much.
So I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Join me for our next guest, Lauren Chambers. Welcome back. A little earlier, we spoke to Sarah Angel, the Co-Valedictorian of Kecoughtan High School. And in just a moment, we're going to be talking to the other side of the pair, Lauren Chambers. And so this has been really a great time to talk to our young folks and to talk about their future and what they're going to do. And so, Lauren, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here today.
It's great to be here.
And as I said, we had earlier spoken to Sarah, and the two of you are sharing the Co-Valedictorian spot for Kecoughtan.
Yes, we are.
So tell me a little bit about that. How was that, knowing that the two of you were neck to neck during the whole process?
It was actually a wonderful experience because Sarah and I are really great friends. So we knew going into our senior year that we were right up against each other. And actually, I believe during our junior year, we were tied as well. So we actually made it a goal to be tied. We wanted to share the title together because neither of us wanted to be above the other one. So when second semester came and we got the results that we were officially tied, it was a big celebration. It was definitely good news.
That's quite amazing because so often young people become pitted in competition. And so this was a great way to solve that.
Definitely.
And what great friendship the two of you must have. Now, she said earlier that I believe the two of you went on some college visits together.
Yes, we did.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Last spring break, my family adopted her for a week, and we flew up into my godmother's home in New Hampshire and then drove down the I-95 corridor, as my dad likes to call it. So we hit Dartmouth and Princeton, Yale, Brown, all of those schools. And I was kind of worried going into it that we'd get into a fight, but we just got closer as the week went on, and it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a good experience.
All right, so you've made a selection.
I have, yes.
And what was it?
I have officially decided on Yale after months and months of deliberation, but I am definitely happy with my choice.
So what made you decide on Yale?
Actually, I was there. They had an admitted students days. They have an admitted students program where the accepted students can go up and stay in a dorm for 3 days and 2 nights. And on the second night that I was there, I was at dinner, and I was talking to one of the friends that I had made, and he said something I was talking about what I wanted to do that night, and they had so many things planned. There was a booklet full of stuff for us to do, but I had said something along the lines of, I just want to go back to our room and talk to the people that I've met, and he said, that's when you know you need to commit. And I just knew at that point in time that this is where I wanted to be because the community was perfect for me, and people are just amazing, so.
That's great. Now, what is your GPA?
I believe it is 4.57.
Okay.
Yes.
And what about your SAT scores?
I got a 2280 on the SAT.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
Now, you have done a number of things in school. You want to tell us a little bit about some of your activities?
Mainly, I'm involved in the marching band. I have been section leader of the clarinets for 2 years, and I was field captain this past year. In addition, I am extremely active in the concert band. I'm the first year clarinetist there, so I get solos every once in a while, which are fun. And then I'm also the president of Mu Alpha Theta Math Honor Society. So we went to a competition this fall. We did not win, but we had a lot of fun while we were there.
Well, great. So going to Yale, are you thinking about what you might want to major in?
I'm telling people that I want to go into astrophysics, but I'm not completely decided on that. I also have interests in geology and Spanish and generally applied physics, so I'm definitely going to take a lot of classes and try and decide exactly what I want to do with my life.
Great. Now, didn't I see where you've been working on a research project? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, the title of the project is, let me see if I can get this right, Functional Optimization of a Micromott Electron Polarimeter for Increased Electron Source Polarization and Gallium Arsenide Photocathode Analysis. I've been working with Dr. Marcy Studsman at Jefferson Lab for the last 9 months. It's
So why
very
don't you
complicated.
break that down?
Okay.
So we can understand it.
Okay, the electron polarimeter measures the polarization of a beam of electrons. So basically, we take an electron beam and we direct it down a path and fire it into a gold target, and then it scatters in multiple directions. And we can measure the amount of electrons in either direction, and from that we get polarization. So we just got a new sort of photocathode, and we were testing it and trying to figure out if this is good for us to be using in experimentation in Jefferson Lab and around the world and all of that.
So do you have any siblings?
I do not. I'm an only child.
Okay.
Yes.
And I've known your mom for a number of years, and I am sure that she's just thrilled about your college selection and what you're going to be doing. So when you graduate from college, what's the career pathway you're thinking about?
I have not decided completely. I'm not that interested in NASA. Having grown up with a mother who works at NASA, I kind of think it's overrated a little bit. I really would like to go, if you know CERN, it's the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, where they recently discovered the Higgs boson, which is huge. My dream would be to one day work there. And Switzerland is nice too.
So do you think there'll be any study abroad?
Definitely. Study abroad is way up on my list. I definitely want to go to Spain and Geneva and India. Not sure how many of these I can achieve, but as many of them, I want to go all over the place.
So what do you do in your free time, Lauren?
Don't have that much free time during senior year, a lot of projects, but generally I really enjoy reading, but my priority when I have free time is to meet up with my friends that I usually don't see because I'm doing homework and try and catch up with them and make sure that we're still on the same track.
Tell me a little bit about the kinds of courses that you've taken in the last couple of years.
Okay, at Governor's School, I'm in the engineering strand there. So I've taken 2 classes of physics. Last year was Newtonian mechanics. This year has been electromagnetism. And then last year I took calculus for the second time. And then this year I've been in multivariable calculus, which is adding a z, and then linear algebra, which is kind of like algebra, but way more complicated and way more confusing. And then I've also been in a research class last year teaching us about ethics and how to conduct research. And then finally, I'm in an environmental science course at the moment, which I'm greatly enjoying.
Now, the Governor's School is a very rigorous program of study. What did you find most challenging in your work there?
In comparison to my Kecoughtan workload, where I have the green and white schedule, where I have one day and then I have 2 days to do the homework, Governor's School's every day. So that was definitely a challenge, trying to adjust to having to do homework every night. In addition to that, the general atmosphere of the classrooms is very different because the students are top students from across the region. So socially, we have some challenging conversations even in the downtime of the class, talking about politics and physics and whatever else. So I would definitely say the social aspect is definitely more rigorous, in addition to the workload, of course.
Probably more like what you'll experience when you get into college life.
Exactly, exactly. So good practice, at least.
Absolutely. Have you done any kind of community service projects or been involved in any give backs to either your school community or the community at large?
Yes. This summer, actually, I volunteered at a summer camp that I have been going to for the last 8 years or so. I spent 2 weeks there. I stayed there, washed dishes, went gardening, helped clean up the grounds, completely volunteer work, but it was definitely a really great experience to give back to a community that has helped me so much in my childhood.
Now, you have some bragging rights, don't you? I understand you got a perfect score.
On the SAT? No, ACT.
ACT?
Yes, ACT.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Very, very well done. What about any other activities that you might be involved in? Are you involved in any sports?
I'm not I'm not involved in any athletics as you would traditionally believe it, but I am in ballet, which I will argue is a sport. We do
absolutely
lots of work. I've been in that for 4 years, and I've also taken some lyrical and contemporary classes on the side, but this year I was forced to drop those because of my workload. But I definitely keep up the ballet. It's a great way for me to refocus my mind if I've had a long week.
It's a great stress reliever for you, too.
Definitely.
So when will you be leaving Hampton for Yale?
The move-in date is August 23rd, so I am counting down the days.
Okay. What about the summer? What are you going to be doing?
I haven't quite decided on that either. I did get a job. Governor's School has a summer camp for 4th through 6th graders, so I will be teaching environmental science for a few weeks in the summer to them. But besides that, I'm hoping to knock some books off my growing reading list and spend time with people that I love most in the city.
Well, Lauren, I am just delighted at what you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
And wish you the best.
Thank you.
I know that Yale will be an excellent choice for you and hope that you keep in touch with us.
Thank you, of course.
All right. Thank you for being with us today.
Of course.
That concludes our interviews and discussions with our amazing 2013 valedictorians from each one of our high schools. Thank you for joining us.